It's passionate, intense, and all squeezed onto one rugged, ancient rock. Dazzling stars populate the Barclays Premier League, but its age-old rivalries are defined by geography.
One of the peculiar things about the Premier League is the geography of the United Kingdom.
So compared to the USA, England is a tiny country, but it's broken up into regions, and a lot of those regions have their own idiosyncrasies.
Imagine if New York City had 10 professional basketball teams. That's what the EPL is kind of like. There's so many rivalries, you know, within cities, within neighborhoods, within, you know, geographic areas.
You've really got London, the Midlands, the North West, the North East. They're your big four.
The majority will say that you're a northern team or a southern team.
Early on in the Premier League, North and South may have been divided in terms of their styles of play. But because of the amount of transfers that has happened now, it no longer defines that. It's now really just the manager's vision and the players that he gets in.
A very large number of the clubs in the Premier League come from the south, dominated, of course, by London. The teams are glamorous. Their fans have a bit more money, I would say. Represented Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham. And then up north, you've got the teams who feel that they're the real English football.
It's grittier, you know. You look at a team like Newcastle or something like that. You look at Everton, you know, from Liverpool, which is all grit, hard work, blue collar.
Teams with more working class roots and, frankly, more working class people in the stands watching them.
The relationship between the North and the South is a complicated one. The Southerners think the Northerners are all idiots and they're all heathens running around without culture, and they eat pies all the time and drink too much beer. The Northerners look at the Southerners and think, oh, you're so posh, you think you're great, you're too slick for us.
The North is industrial, proud of its history, proud of its place, proud of its locale. It's a very kind of miners, steelworks, ports, working class areas. In these cities, Newcastle, Sunderland, Liverpool and Everton, football is everything. Whereas in the south, where you have business, you have mistresses,
wine bars.
You have wine bars to attend to, you have Pinot Noir to make sure it's in the right temperature.
And Grigio.
Football's just an element of life.
The geography of the league is interesting because a lot of it is centered around London, which, if you live in London, it's the center of the universe. And there's 6 or 7 clubs that are going to play in the Premier League.
They tend to be the teams that have the money. Sometimes teams who come from other cities outside London will be a little bit jealous because they'll say that a certain side in London isn't that great a team, but they're able to attract players who are attracted by the lifestyle, or their wives and girlfriends are attracted by the lifestyle.
Well, London teams, for the first part, there's lots of them. If you're from the east part of London, you're probably going to be a West Ham fan. North London, you've got to pick. You've got Arsenal or Spurs. West London, the glory boys will want to go with Chelsea. The less so will go with Fulham.
Stick the blue flag up your black and white, you'll never pass. Stick the blue flag up your...
I live in Manchester, northwest England, and in the surrounding areas, there's Manchester United, Manchester City, Liverpool, Everton, all within, 30, 45-minute drive. And it's so hard for people to comprehend that are familiar with the MLS that our local derby from Houston to Dallas was a 5-hour drive, and you don't ever drive 5 hours in England ever. You can hit a 9-iron to about 6 Premier League teams from Manchester City Centre, and I think that's why the rivalries are so intense there.
You're not going to see a team from a smaller town win the Premier League. It's just, I guess, the fan base, historical support of these football teams that means the big boys are going to remain big.
I think it's hard for a small-town club to compete because, for one thing, just getting the number of people to come and see them every week is difficult.
There is only one road to Norwich. It's very long and it's very narrow. I actually went to university in Norwich. I love it. But it's not a hotbed of football. I'm not sure what it's a hotbed of. It's definitely not football.
A small-town team in the Premier League can win one day. They can't win one season. It's just not going to happen. A team like Hull City can get to the Premier League, can get to the upper echelon, and maybe stay a year or two. And that's the win.
This season, there's going to be 2 teams from Wales, Swansea and Cardiff. And what I think's unique about the Premier League is that Wales is kind of like their Canada. They are in it, but really nobody knows why.
Scotland aren't in the Premier League, Wales are in the Premier League. It's complicated, but you've got Swansea and Cardiff City there as well. So you've got teams from all over England and Wales who all come together.
You have to understand that England Britain is so small. These places are so close to each other, and yet you drive 20 minutes in England, it's a different accent, it's a different way of life. You're almost of a different genetic code because you're from the next town over.
Up next, it's the ultimate fashion statement in all of sports, the kit.